I'm Flint Ballantyne, President and CEO of Ballantyne Gear. In 2002, we started Jurassic Lights and installed Christmas lights on residential sloped roof homes. After a couple of years of searching for a way to protect ourselves and our employees from falls, we realized that nobody had good fall protection for sloped roofs, and that if we wanted it, we would have to make it. The images shown are 5 Eveook Anchorage connector prototype models, showing their development over the years. There were several versions of each model. These Evooks are the foundation of the Ballantyne Gear Eveook non-penetrating fall protection system for residential style sloped roofs. From the beginning, testing has been critical. We test for strength, safety for the installer, safety for the user, and ease of use. In one form or another, testing is continuous. In this video, we are revealing some of the more significant tests. The results of these tests are available upon request. Some test results are shown in this video. We have over 7 gigabytes of test data, video, photos, and observations that can be made available. This is one of our earlier tests at an ISO 17025 lab, testing the strength of an Eveook. The prototype held about 2,000 pounds. Not enough, but it was an improvement of an earlier version of the same model that only held 534 pounds. Testing the strength of the Evooks has become a regular occurrence, with several test sessions per year that determine the strength of the Evooks as they developed. Now they are used to ensure quality. From experience working on roofs, we knew that the friction of the rope on the roof would be a significant factor in configuring a fall protection system. With the testing apparatus shown, in 2013, we tested some of the most common slopes from almost flat to very steep, including 312, 412, 812, 1212, and 1412 slopes, performing static tests to test the friction of a rope going across the roof. Load cells were placed on the rope on the roof on both sides of the ridge, and a third was on the rope between the roof edge and the chain puller that was on the ground. Performed in April 2018, this test is from a lifeline that is attached horizontally to an anchor line. The anchor line is between 2 Evooks. Even though the maximum weight allowed for an Eveook system is 250 pounds, all dynamic drop tests are weighted with a 310-pound solid test mass. It should be noted that, for testing purposes, a person is not a solid mass. They are a soft mass. In a fall, when a person comes to the end of a rope, some of the shock to the rope is absorbed by the person's body. A 310-pound solid test mass would be comparable to a 350-pound soft mass. In other words, the equivalent to a 350-pound soft test mass is being used instead of a 250-pound soft test mass like a test dummy. This means a very harsh test on the fall protection system to ensure the safety of the user. You will note from the video that the sheath of the rope was stripped and the test mass hit the ground. It didn't hit the ground very hard, but it hit the ground. So this rope failed and is no longer being used. All further tests are shown using the CAMP Safety 11mm lithium rope. This rope has proven itself to be the right choice for the Eveook system. In addition to video and pictures, all tests are accompanied with records of force and displacement, the amount of stretch in the rope for the amount of force exerted on the rope. This data is always acquired with load cells and data acquisition software, and when possible, it is also recorded by manual observations. From the green graph, we are able to see that a 1,167-pound force was felt at the load cell between the test mass and the lifeline. The other 3 load cells had less than 100 pounds. There was a load cell at both ends of the anchor line at the 2 Evooks. There was also a load cell between the lifeline and its attachment to the anchor line being on the opposite side of the ridge of the roof from the drop test. The Excel file shows the force versus displacement and allows for calculations and analysis that are critical in the design of the system. Each test is followed by a short summary of the test and is sometimes used to point out factors observed that may not be easily recognized from the video, data, and graphs. This information is available for all the tests upon request. In the next test, 2 test masses were dropped, coming from two lifelines that were attached perpendicularly to one anchor line between two Eveooks. They were dropped consecutively because our professional engineer advises that consecutive drops would be more damaging to the anchor line than if they were dropped at the same time. The fall protection system successfully prevented the test masses from striking the ground. In May of 2018, a series of tests were performed to test the properties of individual pieces of gear relative to their function within an Eveook system. These tests were critical for analysis to determine how to use the system. This test shows a lifeline that is attached to an Eveook on one side of a roof, and under the roof edge on the other side of the lifeline, it is attached to a chain puller on a man lift. After several minutes of tensioning, the rope was tensioned to about 2,900 pounds. It was very difficult to go any higher than 2,900 because, at these heavy forces, the rope kept stretching. This is good because stretching is better than breaking. Here we have another lifeline attached to an anchor line perpendicularly. Tensioning with a chain puller for over 20 minutes, we were able to get about a 3,400 pound force of tension. Again, the rope kept stretching. A chain puller was used to test our Camp Goblin fall arrestor rope grab. At a little over 1,300 pounds, the Goblin slides down the rope. This is perfect since it is under the 1,800 pound threshold where people may die or suffer permanent injuries, but strong enough to stop the fall quickly and prevent a user from hitting the ground. We will repeat an earlier test where the lifeline is attached horizontally to the anchor line. The lifeline is attached to the anchor line on the same side of the roof that the test mass is dropped, and this time it is with a rope that can handle the stress of the fall. November 2018, we spent 2 days at an ISO 17025 lab testing Eevooks and Eveook systems with static and dynamic tests. All dynamic tests met the OSHA, ANSI, and CSA standards that we were trying to achieve.
Good. All clear. 1, 2, 3. All clear. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we're on. Yeah. Hey, honey. 9.
We were especially pleased with the static tests where the Eevooks were attached to the wood substrate. These tests showed that if a Suburban in a harness was to fall from the roof, instead of breaking an Eveook, the Eveook would plow through the roof until it is able to hold the vehicle. Unfortunately, however, the static strength of the Eveooks was not as strong as we had desired. We wanted them to hold more than 7,200 pounds in order to be able to hold 2 workers when used within an engineered system. Most of the Eevooks were breaking between 6,000 and 7,000 pounds.
Alright. All clear? Clear. 3, 2, 1. All clear? 3, 2, 1. Press.
In September 2019, we tested our Link rafter tail system. The Eevooks require a soffit under the eaves to allow them to attach properly to a roof edge. Some houses don't have soffits, but they have rafter tails that extend beyond the edge of the house. The Link system provides a temporary soffit for the Eevooks to attach so that they are positioned properly in the case of a fall. The Link system also protects the roof edge from damage. If a system is used to stop a hard fall, damage to the roof edge is likely but considered to be an acceptable sacrifice for saving a roof worker.
3, 2, 1. So we're ready? Yep. Okay. 3, 2, 1. £9,600, 57 inches.
In December 2019, we returned to the ISO 17025 lab to retest the one series of tests that did not meet the requirements that would allow the Eveook engineered fall protection system to be used by 2 persons. The Eevooks needed to hold more than 7,200 pound force. The video cameras did not have adequate memory to complete the test, but when the video ends, the Eveook had greatly exceeded the requirement.
I remember 98. $9,856 and 3/4 inches. Yeah.
Additionally, the load cell data from the lab showed strengths of a 9,918 pound force, an 11,367 pound force, and a 9,627 pound force, comfortably above the requirement of a 7,200 pound force. Dual fall protection. December 2019. Time for a test of a dual fall protection system, where a person is attached to two lifelines to protect them from two edges, usually on a corner. No reason why it shouldn't go perfectly. And it did.
3, 2, 1.
If an Eveook system is not installed or used as specified within the technical manual, the user may be at risk of serious injuries or death. Nevertheless, we don't want anyone to get hurt. An anchor line within an Eveook system is required to cross a ridge of a roof perpendicularly with at least 6 feet of ridge on each side of the anchor line. Or it must have an obstacle like a wall to keep the anchor line from sliding off the side of the roof. Another option, if the anchor line does not cross the ridge, would be to attach a support line to the anchor line that would prevent the anchor line from sliding down the roof. We're going to look at a couple of instances where the anchor line does not cross the ridge and there is no support line. Two tests were performed around the end of January 2020. This first example is a 64-foot anchor line that is very close to the edge of the roof, does not cross a ridge, and is not using a support line. In a drop test, the test mast hits the ground. But if this would have been a person falling from the roof, at least they would have landed on their feet, and the impact on the ground was greatly reduced. At the bottom of the initial 6-foot free fall, the 310-pound solid test mass would have had a force of approximately 1,800 pounds. When it hit the ground, the force was reduced enough that it did not break the plastic pipe that was under the shingles where it landed. The next example is similar to the first, except this time the line is only 24.5 feet. The test mass does not strike the ground. Other mistakes might have made these instances more dangerous, such as the anchor line not being properly tensioned, or too much slack in a user's lifeline. Nevertheless, the Eveook system is designed to outperform its claims.
Keep going. Okay, I'm off. Keep going. Stop.
In July and August 2020, a series of tests on and off the roof were performed to determine how the inertia of a person sliding or rolling off a roof might affect the fall protection. After reviewing the results of the tests, we made several demonstrations where we personally slid off the roof and even ran off the roof. While this seems extreme, after more than a decade of testing, we knew what the results of the demonstration would be. And we were testing from an edge that was less than 10 feet high, so we would be able to simply jump to the ground if necessary.